How's everybody in the abnormal family doing tonight? We had some things we wanted to talk to y'all tonight. We're excited to talk about it. We wanted to try some new things, hopefully, to get the streaming fixed for Saturday night so we have less issues. So we're going to do a test run tonight. We had some information that we was going to share, so we thought, hey, let's do it live. Um, we didn't have anything else to do, and I know that me and Kirk's been talking about this all day. And yeah, that's right, King. He says, let's get it. We're ready to get it tonight. We got some good stuff, guys. We've been looking deep into some things. We got some changes to the show coming up, and I got a couple of things we may be doing. But before we get too into this, I do got a few things I want to say before we start the show. I didn't get to watch a lot of it the other night, but I was told by some viewers that Josh Turner over at the Paranormal Roundtable, he had some really nice things to say about us last night. And as always, we appreciate that, Josh. Also, a little birdie told me just a little bit ago that Josh may be turning a year older tomorrow. So also, Josh Turner, we'd like to wish you a happy birthday here from Abnormal Investigations, and many more with good health and many more blessings and memories with your family and loved ones. Moving on from that, I think I want to go ahead and bring Kirk in for the second part of this with some of the ideas that we have that's going to be going on, and we'll kind of get this started as people come in.
Good evening.
How you doing, Kirk?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Doing good. I told them we have some pretty amazing conversations today about what's going on in the news.
Yes. Yep, there are big things coming for our channel. There are big things coming for several others in the cryptid community. And I just actually, the particular witness that I was talking with earlier, that I said it would probably be a couple weeks before we got an answer, she just told me, okay, she wants to schedule it for early August. And we definitely will schedule it. It will be her and her sister.
Ah, so we're going to get a double that night.
Yep.
We've never had a double, have we? I think that'd be the first time.
No, this will be a first.
Also, we're gonna go over some of our starting stuff tonight. We got some changes coming, guys. I noticed in a lot of the videos, it seems that I'm missing a lot of your all's like questions. It is hard to do questions in the middle of a conversation, or especially with the guest, without interrupting, and causing them to lose their chain of thought. So, give me your comments throughout the show, and I will try to scan and post those and throw those up. And then let's try to hit the questions at the end of the show with capital letters if you can. If you can't, we understand, some things don't work. But
Right.
I think it'll run better that way, and, for me to throw your all's, statements up, I may not be able to read all of them because I don't want to interrupt people as we're talking. It sometimes causes chaos. But I will throw them up where people can see it in the chat, and I'll do my best to keep up. There's so many other things I'm having to watch and do as this goes on, and sometimes I get confused and wonder, where am I even at? And I was telling Kirk the other day, I was like, people's going to think I'm crazy because I can't even remember where I'm at half the time. Uh, let's see. I think you wanted to wish Josh a happy birthday.
Very much so. Josh, happy birthday. I know you're 29 again, and just keep up the good work, brother.
Let's see. I got some ideas, and I want to run this past our viewers because it's important to me to keep our viewers engaged in the channel with decision makings.
Correct.
Um, I had a person ask me the other day, is it possible to do a video once monthly that is a members only video that will not be released? That's a lot of extra work for me. But if I do that, I would have to do another tier in our membership uh, area that we have. And maybe we could do like a members only drop and then do the regular drop on some videos to everybody. And then once a month, only once a month, a video that is only for the second tier members. If that sounds like something you all want, let me know in the chats. If that's something that y'all would like to see, and I'll see if I can work that in. Um, I may even be able to do a granny only second tier stories once a month. I don't know. Personal encounters, something like that. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of kicking it around.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people ask for it.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's crazy. They've even blew Kirk up over it.
yep. And it's like, guys, we'll see what we can do.
It's hard. It is hard.
Yeah, it is. There's only so many hours in the day.
It's difficult. Uh, Another thing I thought about doing, if we do the second tier I couldn't do it every month, but maybe every like 3 months, we could do a giveaway of something. I don't know, just kind of kicking it around. Um,
That wouldn't be a bad idea. We'd have to come together, figure out what exactly we can give. It has to be something that the people will value, uh, want to receive. You know, we'll think about it and we'll figure something out.
I thought maybe even like a cap with our logo on it and all of our signatures on it or something.
Yep.
I don't, something along those lines. So if you guys would like to see a second tier happen, we could definitely do that. Um, I think we could probably get a lot of good stories in there at least once a month. Do a drop at least once a month. Um, we got Urso in here. We got Wendy's here tonight. Thank you, Wendy. She's a
Hi,
moderator.
Kevin.
Free the People looks like in here. We got Michelle in here. We got Adam Rogers in here. We got Candy Wolf, Sheldon, and Dawn. Hello, everybody. It's good to see everybody tonight. We're going to get this kicked off here pretty soon. We got some really good stuff to talk about tonight. Like I said, I have a first person encounter that happened in Alaska we're going to share later. And Kirk and I are going to pick that story apart. And man, when I got that story, Kirk, I called Kirk at like 3 in the morning.
Yep.
I was like, this is crazy. But I talked to her, and I think y'all are going to really love that story because it's
Oh,
out
they
there.
will. There's no doubt about it.
It's
And
definitely
you and I, as you're telling it, there are some things that we've got to point out. And yeah, it's going to get very interesting on that one.
I think so also. Um, let me see. Let me check something real quick, see if we still do it. All right, guys. I do have the article. I found the article, so we are going to do the article tonight. We lost Kurt momentarily. He's in the middle of a storm right now, so he may be in and out. He'll probably pop right back in, I'm sure. I got another thing I was going to tell you all tonight. A lot of you's been asking for it, and yep, it's on its way. I have a boots on the ground investigation coming up. I'm going to be going down to the woods and looking at a place where these people had an encounter. It seems to be a pretty heavily traveled area. They've had a lot of encounters there, and we're going to go down and check it out. So that's going to be one of the things we're going to be looking at doing. They asked me to go to this particular area, and that's where we're going to head to. All right, guys. Another thing, we have a question up here from War Criminal. Hey, Mike, and Kurt, where is Calvin tonight? I expected that to be brought up tonight. Calvin is no longer affiliated with the channel at this time. We wish Calvin the best at whatever he's doing. But as of right now, Calvin is not part of the this channel or affiliated with the channel. And like I said, we wish him the best at whatever he's doing. But that's what's happening right now. I guess the second part of that would be to let you all know that Brandy will be the new co-host that will be coming in. She'll be filling Calvin's spot. So we're all happy to see Brandy coming in and doing that. It was a big decision. There was other people that was looked at, and when the final decision came down, it just seemed that Brandy really just fit the area. Michael Brown says, I have a girlfriend. No, she's married. But she, as far as her knowledge and everything, and her attitude and her being funny and everything, I think she's going to fit right in. She's moderated for us for a while, and has moderated other channels too, I believe, hadn't she, Kurt? She's got a lot of experience.
Yeah, she's good. And we also, on the days that she cannot make it or something, we have Shelly that will be coming on as a co-host also.
Yes. Shelly done awesome.
Yeah.
I think our team is really coming together. We have a lot of talent coming. And it seems like we just keep growing in a better direction than where we was. Our numbers are showing it. I would say even our contacts are showing it. And I just want to say that it's by the blessing of God that this channel's where it's at, and it'll be by God where it ends up at.
That is correct.
War Criminal says he loves doing field research. I couldn't agree more. Let's get into tonight's topic. I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things to this that happened tonight, guys. Well, let's just jump right in. Let me
jump in with both feet, Mike. Don't hold back.
That's the only way to do it, right?
Yep.
So we're not going to use the name of the airlines just for legal reasons. That way that we don't hurt their airline. But a major airline had a woman that was on a flight, and she was seated by a man wearing a hoodie. She became very upset. The witness on the plane, by the name of Lee, said he seen the woman having a conversation with this guy in a hoodie. The guy in the hoodie supposedly didn't say a word back to her, implying that the guy was using mind speak with her.
Imagine that.
A lot of you have probably seen the TikTok video. There's no doubt that the lady was hysterical.
Yep.
She saw something that didn't feel right with her. Definitely.
Right.
Lee says the man then winked at the lady, but the wink was horizontal wink like a reptilian or a lizard would, like the way elevator doors close. I'm
And you know,
surprised.
that is not the only case of that.
It goes deeper. All this
Yeah,
stuff is collaborating what I have found looking at it today.
yeah.
Um, Anything you want to say before we go deeper, or shall we keep going down the hole?
Keep going down.
Lee's video was labeled fake by him. He said it was to trick the algorithms so that the truth would be put out there and not banned, which was pretty smart because we know
Yep,
what happens whenever we put things out there that they don't want out there.
yep. That's right.
It ends up either getting not the publicity that it deserves, it gets hidden, or even in our case, sometimes our links get deleted and we have to make new links right at the beginning of our show. Um, Now, the woman claimed the man that walked to the back of the plane did not look real.
Yeah, what is with all these types of sightings? I mean, people are seeing things that before maybe occasionally it would be cited and reported, but now lizard people, frogmen, I mean, I just, there's more out there now than there ever has been.
You know, even like that lizard thing that I seen, down there, frog. I thought it was a frog in the tree.
Right.
is that part of it?
You don't know.
There's still a lot to be discovered in this
George,
crazy,
yes, they probably are demons.
especially in this crazy world.
Right.
I have to. I just seen this come up. So I'm just gonna post it. Uh, anyways, yeah, that's what I was trying to hit. That gave me goosebumps. It gives me goosebumps. I was standing about 12 feet from it, and you know, I thought it was a big frog. And the next thing I know, I see these eyes go whoop whoop, and I'm like, whoa. I'm not going to say exactly what I said, but it wasn't.
No, no, YouTube would not like that.
Yeah, it was it was scary. Football cat. I know that you're kind of like joking there, but there is. I'm just going to go down the rabbit hole. There was a lot of Russian diplomats at this airport,
Right.
and we know that there has been rumored that a lot of the man, I got to put this so I don't mess up. I want to call them something different. The bodyguards that guard these important people, some of them don't look human, and that's been brought up several times.
Yes, it
Inauguration,
has.
a lot of that, and
The question is, where do they come from, though?
well, there was a man I was looking at, and this is going to really start messing with people. Demons through witchcraft,
Exactly.
and I'm not going to say no names because every time somebody mentions these people's names, people end up having accidents. But it seems to be that this
Yeah, you
goes.
noticed that.
Yeah, it seems to go further than what people want to talk about. This guy right here has heckled me and heckled me for the last 3 nights that we've been on. Mike, are you cleat certified? How many times have I answered that question? I think we have an idea who this person is. What do you think?
Yep, that's pretty well what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Moderators, keep an eye on Jack Jordan. If he don't have anything else to say tonight other than that, then let's not go there with him tonight. Me and Kirk's had enough of him, and we've been
Right.
watching him. Let's
Yep.
go ahead and do him. I'm gonna here. Hold on. I switched him over to YouTube for harassment. That way they can get his information. That's what I'm
Very
gonna start
good.
doing from now on.
Very good.
The truth is stronger than fiction. Man, it does seem that way here lately. It seems like the truth is scarier than fiction right now.
Oh, there's no doubt. It is scarier than fiction. You just, I mean, I don't even know what to say about it because they are everywhere.
Hey, Brooks, send me an email and we will definitely set up an interview.
Brooks, I tried to talk to you 2 weeks ago about that, 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Yes, get with us and we can definitely use more. No doubt.
Yep. Yes, please do.
Tanisha says, do they look more human like just reptile eyelids or do they look reptile in the face too? I've seen two different kinds. I've seen both.
Okay. Mike, go ahead, touch on this, and then I will go ahead and.
Just from what I've seen, I have seen some that are pretty normal looking. Their breathing seems to be one of the things that is abnormal. Even in the looking ones, they breathe more in the throat area than they do in the chest area. They also are said to have trouble controlling their body heat. For instance, if you're in a building that is really hot, you're going to find them seeking out the coolest places. If you're in a building that's really cold, you're going to find them seeking out the warmest places because it's believed, and I don't know how true this is, but it is believed that they are unable to control their body heat the same as a reptile.
And that very much does make sense. Now, what I have been able to find out, they do very much appear to be human. Mike is correct about instead of their chest expanding as they breathe, it seems to be their throat is expanding more. Their eyes look very strange if you look into the pupil. It can actually change from a round pupil, like a human's eye, to a slit of a pupil, just like a lizard does or a snake does. How they do that, ain't got a clue, other than the fact it's demonic. Do I think the British Royals are reptilians? That's a good question. They are something. Not normal.
You're not going down that rabbit hole, are you, Kurt?
No, not yet. That's still part of that one that's coming out later.
Yeah.
With the guys on the little bicycles.
Yes. All right, getting back to our story. A lot of the suspects on the airplane, they should have worded it witnesses. A lot of the witnesses on the airplane, they said they witnessed what they believed to be a non-human being,
right,
that was flesh and blood. Because listen to this, they observed him eating peanuts. He was drinking. He used the facilities and was sweating. So he has a need for food and water. Um,
Yep.
Now, the hoodie man, and this is where it gets really weird. The hoodie man is what they're calling this guy. He does a TikTok to tell his side of the story, okay? So the man in the hoodie says he's sitting there by the lady on the plane, and he's wearing a shirt that has the symbol of the Freemasons on it. Okay. This guy, I know.
Yeah.
This guy is a white guy. It's a white male. He has tattoos across his forehead, all over his face. He has symbols on his face. I'll let you all look at what they are. And not only does he have the tattoos, the symbols, he's wearing the Freemason shirt. He's got rings on that symbolize things. And I'll let you all make your own on that. But he's sitting there and he says he's having a conversation with this lady. And she's telling him, you know what that stuff represents. She says, you know that you people in the Masons and all that, you guys at the very top. And this is what she says. This is not what the channel believes, guys. I am only reporting a story. She says, you guys at the 33rd degree, when you transfer from a Mason to a Shriner, no, a Shriner to a Mason. I may have that backwards.
Mason to a Shriner.
Okay, from a Mason to a Shriner, you become Luciferians, is what she told him. He says, I looked at her and I told her, I am Satan. He told her that's who he was, according to this guy. The weird thing is, he says, I then winked at the guy behind me and said, Freemasons don't care to rule the world. We rule the universe. Now, this is after he already had this conversation with this lady, this interaction. Right. She's already ran down the aisle.
Yep.
He turns around to a guy behind him and he says, we don't want to run the world. We run the universe. Why he would make that comment to me, I think they've been on an airplane and everything. I believe it was meant to cause chaos and fear. And this is my opinion, but I believe it was a terroristic remark. I would have treated it that way if I would have been there. He then looks at another guy and winks at him also. And then he ends his TikTok video. He ends his video by saying this at the very end of his video. Freemasons don't rule the world. We rule the universe. That's how he ended his TikTok. I'm going to post all these TikToks on my Facebook page. I saved the link for you guys, and I will post them on the Facebook page if you would like to watch them. The lady that said something was not right about this guy, they have tried to spin it on her. And what they've tried to spin on her is they're saying that this lady was the actual shapeshifter and it was not the Shriner. Now, they say in the video, I know what you're thinking. They say in the video that if you look at her neck while she's arguing, you can see a line in her neck where it looks like she's wearing a hooded mask. To me, it looks like a necklace. I think it's a far stretch, and I'd be the first.
I actually thought it was a scar.
Yeah, I believe, honestly, that there is necklaces being used right now. But I also believe it, these masks are not always the corporate. I think we have to be careful that we don't label everything a mask.
Exactly.
I think that would cause us a lot of trouble.
Yeah, what that actually looked like to me, it looked like a scar from a thyroid surgery.
Okay. Moving on down the rabbit hole. uh,
Once
the
you go
man,
down it, there's no coming back.
no, we're, I think we're too far down it now.
Yes, we are.
The man with the tattoos also said, uh, here's where it gets weird. Okay, the man in the black tattoo with all these tattoos and everything that comes out and says, "I was the man she was talking to," right? But another guy comes out that everybody on the plane seems to be focusing on, and not this guy with the tattoos. Okay, there's a video that comes out that allegedly, and I say allegedly because it is hard to see in the video exactly what's happening, but they say that whenever he blinks, his eyes blink sideways. It's not the guy in the black hoodie, it's the guy in the green hoodie. And if you'll notice in the video, more people are focused on the guy in the green hoodie than they ever was the guy in the black hoodie.
Right.
So is the guy in the black hoodie, is he a actor to stand in to cover this up?
Sure is. The long and short of it, Mike, the government is never going to let us know. They're working on soft disclosure right now. It will be Project Bluebeam. You know, we will have, the 600,000 people or however many came up missing. Well, the aliens took them.
I think they're going to deceive us with a fake rapture.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
Because they're going to have to. They're going to have an explanation to explain Jesus away.
Yeah, those claim the aliens actually took them when the rapture happens.
It was Bigfoot driving the flying saucer. I couldn't help it.
Or it could be it might be that he was actually riding the Loch Ness monster.
Now here's where it takes another twist. Another witness says that he was on the plane and he noticed the woman having a conversation with this guy, okay? But the guy's in a green hoodie this time, not the black hoodie. During the conversation, he notices that the woman has been conversating with this guy for quite a while. The guy is giving the reactions and the motions to her like he's talking to her and engaging in the conversation, but his lips never move and he never speaks. This is a witness that saw this.
Pride of Judah, I've seen that before also, and I'm very highly suspicious of it.
Well, the same witness says, after the woman got scared of the man, she got up, ran down the aisleway like she does. He said, definitely she was in fear. There was no doubt this lady was in fear. And the stewardess asked the guy in the green, is everything okay? He does this. That's all he does. Doesn't speak. So after she asked him if everything was okay, the witness says the man then looks all around the plane like he's trying to figure out what's going on, who's out there, looks at the witness just telling this statement, and he winks at him with his left eye. He said what scares the hell out of him, his left eye blinked horizontally like a lizard, And he said he smiled at me and turned around.
Imagine that. Guys, I'm going to have to go ahead and tell everybody I'm moving around tonight. You see me not being able to sit still. It's because I actually hurt my back a little bit ago and can't find a comfortable way to sit.
I've never even noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on some heavy duty pain pills. I know what you've done. Kirk hurt himself pretty bad.
Why would these things do this on a plane of all places? You have a captive audience there. Let's face it, where are they going to go?
It makes you wonder also, are they maybe traveling our planes to practice their infiltration of us?
You know, at this point in time, Mike, I can believe anything until proven differently. There's so much we don't know, but yet so much we need to know.
Tanisha says maybe they don't have vocal cords and that's why they mind speak.
I'm open to that.
I think, it could be anything. My thing is on the mind speaking, we've talked a little bit about this. I'm just going to say it. Hell,
Go right ahead.
If you open the door to Satan, he'll come in. Now, what I'm saying by this is if, and this is only a theory, if these people are demonic beings, if you speak to them first, you're giving them place.
Right.
Remember the witness we had on a while back? Remember, she said at her bedroom window, she said, "Why are you talking to me?" Remember? And it said, "Because you spoke first."
Right.
I think that I think we would probably be afraid if we knew what was actually really around us.
Yes, we would. And Michelle, you're right.
Now, my question is to everybody: if that happens, do you stay on the airplane or do you get off?
Personally, I would stay on. But there again, that's just me.
Because it makes you think, is that maybe her plan?
Yep.
To get people off.
Yep.
To get you off the plane.
Exactly right.
I don't know. It's the eating the peanuts and it's drinking and it's sweating. I'm just going to call them a hybrid, a possible possessed hybrid.
That's a very good possibility too.
But what would that make them? That would make them an abomination, right?
Yep, that is correct. And some people I know actually believe that that's what Bigfoot and Dogman both are some type of abomination.
And like what Kelly says, that is true. This lady's missing. She's went missing. The lady that was sitting beside her on the airplane is also missing. And another weird thing that happened, every stewardess on that airplane was switched out before it left.
Yeah. And going down the rabbit hole, it's pretty well what I would expect because of government involvement.
Little bunny foo-foo.
Yeah.
You know, she went missing, I think, because she seen the truth.
Yeah.
Now,
You watch and see. It's going to come out that she'll reappear, and gee, she was in the hospital for a mental evaluation.
well, they have had a lot of people come out that are now saying that sorry, I'm reading that's where I get confused. You say the scared lady's missing. Yes, George, yeah, the scared lady is missing. They have a lot of people coming out now wearing hoodies saying, no, it was me. No, it was
Yeah.
me. It was me. I think these are actors. They even had one guy come out. I think I can say this without getting us in trouble. I try to stay PG when I'm not talking about people's guts getting ate. This one guy came out and he says it was him. And this is not a joke. It was on TikTok. He said, I was sitting beside the lady. We were having a conversation. She asked me if I would help her put her things in the locker up above. And he said, I told her. Yep. And he said, I told her I would help. He said, I was wearing like sweats. And he says, I have a 15-inch organ. And he said, she saw it and started screaming, you're not real, and took off running down the aisleway. There are so many
that's just it. There's so many variations to this story. What's real, what's not real. How much of this is being put out by the government as disinformation?
You know, the guy that done the interview, the witness kid that came out, I think he's very, very, very believable. He, the way he presented himself and the way he talked about it, he even said, he said, hey, I don't want to talk about this poopy no more. I want to be done with it. I'm not going to lie. It scared the poop out of me. And seeing his eye do that and the way he looked around and the way he smiled, it was all sinister. It was all sinister that he done. This guy was evil. He knew that he had gotten away with something evil. He had really bothered this lady. And he told her he was Satan, straight out.
Yeah. Now, whether he was or not, we don't know. We'll never know. But, for somebody to say that tells you a lot about them if they are actually a person. And if they aren't a person, then they damn sure may be Satan.
Or just a heavily possessed evil,
Yep.
Just an evil person.
Yep.
And for him to get, to get his jollies out of it, to think it was funny.
Exactly.
I think Tamara, he said it for fear. He was trying to scare her.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I think they get a. They may even feed off of that fear. I believe that Satan feeds off of fear. Demons feed off of fear. And he probably thought it was funny. He, like the time me and my cousin got scared at the thing, in the honeysuckles, it laughed. I think that these things enjoy scaring us. And God, I can't say this word, but when you're scared, your body produces a certain chemical that is rumored that certain elites like to use. One that was allegedly Oprah. So, is it true?
Oh, Leave the old witch of the West Wing out of this.
That one too. And
Yeah.
is it true? We don't know for a fact. We can't prove it.
There are some things true about that. I'll guarantee you that.
It's
Guarantee you that.
you know, um, I did watch a show where I can't think of the guy's name right offhand. He's on The Price is Right now. The black guy. No, not Price is Right. Family Feud. And
Family
he was on
Feud.
Yeah.
Steve Harvey.
Yeah. They put a red substance in his hand and tell him to rub it together. It would get rid of wrinkles and stuff. And he said, "What is this?" And they said, "Well, it's made from the foreskin of little kids in another country."
Oh my God.
And we'll leave that there. Yeah, Belinda, they said he was eating he was eating nuts. So
Frogman. I like that.
I do too. Oh, I didn't see that.
No, I didn't notice that.
I would like to see that. Hello,
I
Sugar
would
Richard.
too.
Good to see you in the crowd tonight. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yes, it is very disgusting, Tamara.
Yeah, at least they didn't tell him to eat it.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I really don't know what to add to that just because, I mean, I don't know a lot about the subject, what's going on. I'm going to throw a number out real quick to Kirk real quick. We're working on something tonight, guys. Hey, Kirk, 90.
Okay.
But, I mean, I really don't know what to add to that other than I had that encounter with that green thing. I mean, if anybody has any questions or anything before we move on to the next part, I'd be glad.
How much do you know about the Loveland Frogman?
I did do a video on that. It's been a while back.
Okay.
What, the kid changing a tire or something?
No, that is the that was the Lizard Man.
Okay,
That happened in South Carolina. The Frogman is in Ohio.
Okay, so tell me about that one.
Well, there has been on maybe a dozen occasions by some fairly reputable, reliable witnesses seen what appeared to be a 6-foot tall frog walking on 2 legs bipedally, and it supposedly chased a couple that were parked. It was also seen diving back into the river that it came out of. So, bullfrogs don't get 6 foot tall. Bullfrogs don't.
You froze up a little bit. I don't know if I'm froze up. If bullfrogs did get 6 foot tall, that would sure save us from having to catch as many of them to eat.
Yep.
You froze up a little bit. Maybe the storms in your area, but we got a really big lag right now.
Okay, give me a minute.
Mike, is it possible?
One of the
I don't know if I can put the link. I don't think I can. Not on here. I will put it. Okay, I will put the link on the Facebook page and also under the community page on my YouTube.
Yeah, you can put it on Facebook. Yeah, you can put it on Facebook, but you can't put it on this.
Yeah.
Now, one of the actual reports of the Frogman was made by a police officer. You know, I'm going to say police officers normally are pretty credible.
Right. Well, shall we move on to the next story?
Sure.
I've talked to Kirk about this one. Let's see here. 98. Um,
Yes, I have noticed how much older they looked after Trump became president. And once more, I think you know why that is. That is correct, Bishop Bill.
I'd like to see that, Brooks, if you have a link to that. All right, here we go, guys. I had a lady I spoke to the other day. She wanted to remain anonymous, and this is the one I called Kirk at 3 a.m. in the
I've been
morning.
waiting on this.
And, well, we might as well just get to it.
I've been waiting on it.
I knew I couldn't wait to share this with everybody. Guys, you're going to love this. I enjoyed talking to her. Her story is her story. But me and Kirk, we really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So here we go. She said, I want to write to you anonymously because our family is afraid and we want you to put the word out. We live in Alaska. We have been having trouble with something messing around our cabin. My dad was a trapper and it was eating our furs and the guts. And she says her dad, what was happening is her dad and them, they live out in the middle of nowhere in this cabin. And her dad is a trapper. Valerie, thank you very much.
Thank you, Valerie.
A woman on the plane did a Baphomet hand gesture, as above, so below. I just started watching the beginning of y'all's live video, so you're probably on another topic as you read this. We are on another topic, but I will check it out. That's very interesting.
Yes, it is.
And thank you very much again for the super. Her dad is a trapper, and she said that he had a trapping, like a building out from their house. Something had been coming up, and he has a bucket that he would put the guts in, and I guess the waste, and take the hides and stretch them. Well, the buckets were getting removed and took down to the creek. The stuff that was in the buckets, the waste and everything, was gone, and the buckets were rinsed out and placed upside down by the creek. Well, it started not just taking the guts and stuff. I guess we call it the gut bucket. It wouldn't take the gut bucket. So it started eating not just the guts out of the gut bucket, but eating his tans and his furs, which was detrimental to their income. She said that's how they made their money.
Right. Very, very detrimental.
He was very upset because she said, hey, that pays for our snowmobile gas, our snowmobiles that break down, other food items we have to buy that we can't hunt. It really hits them hard.
Right.
So the dad first thought it's a bear. It's got to be a bear because I seen it come up one night and it looked like a bear. It was bipedal, but he said it wasn't uncommon when they're feeding to see them on two legs and, So he just decided, hey, that's a free fur coming up to the house, right? I don't have to hunt. Right. Oh. So he drills a hole through the door, she says, with a handheld hole digger or a driller. And she says, a lot of people do not know this, but a 223 AR-15 in Alaska is a very common weapon that all of us carry. She said her dad hunts with it almost exclusively, except for some other old war rifles that they may use for larger game. She said the creature came back, and her dad, having the hole where he could see out the door, he fired one round. She said her dad yelled at everybody, "I got it, I got it, I got it, I got it. I got that SOB." And he was happy that he got it.
Yeah.
Well, he goes out there. He's gone for a while. They hear him beating on things, like, beating on wood. He comes back in a little while later, and she says, "What were you doing out there so long? Was you skinning the bear already?" And he said, "No." He said, "I put it in a box, and I put it on ice." And they said, "Well, why would you do that? Are you going to do it tomorrow? Because usually that's not normal how they would preserve something." She said that they would keep the fur off of. Well, she says her dad starts talking to her mother, and he says, "What I killed out there does not look like a bear. It looks like a bear and a man, but it looks like a teenage boy." Thank you very much, Josh, for that. We appreciate that a lot.
Good to see you in here, Josh. Now, something, Mike, that I wanted to bring up. This is one of the things that kind of rubs me a little bit wrong about that story to this point, is the fact that they live in Alaska. They see bear. They know what bear is. How could the father have mistaken it when he saw it on the hill?
I don't know if it was the distance and no light, and maybe the size of it. Maybe it was a larger, heavier build than maybe of a human.
And that's possible too. But like I say, this is just one of the questions I have about this.
Right. Well, then she says the father's really freaked out because this thing looks more human than it does animal.
Right.
So they contact the wildlife authority, and she said they have to fly out to where their location is, and they contact them by, she says, radio, ham radio.
Yeah, that's very standard.
That's standard out there.
Yeah.
So she says the officer shows up. They load the body onto the airplane, and it leaves. Life continues as normal until the next evening. They get raided. Now, she says she thinks it's military because they're in camo, and we know that not just the military wears fatigues, other organizations wear fatigues.
Right.
And they took their cell phones, all electronics, and cameras.
Anything that could take a picture.
Yep, or anything that they might have shared information with.
Yep.
So the next day, the dad goes and runs the trap line as normal, she says. But dad doesn't come home. So they contact the local sheriff, which is a guy that lives in the little town below them, like a little village, I guess, she says. And him and some of the other trappers, they go out and look for him, she said, which is very common. They all pull together and look for each other. They found her dad. He was shot through the head. So her dad's dead. She says that they told her that they believe that her dad was probably mistaken for a deer or an antelope and was shot by another hunter. Yeah, I know.
Okay. Yeah. And that was the other thing I wanted to bring up. How in the hell, excuse my language, how can you mistake a human being for a deer or an antelope?
Right.
Or an elk?
Right.
It just isn't happening. Whoever shot him knew what they were shooting.
And that, and also, that's, I mean, that's one of the first things they even teach you in hunter safety course, is your target and what's beyond your target. You don't just fire at color, movement, and sound.
Exactly.
After this happened, now you got to keep in mind, they've never had none of this happen at their house before. After this happened, they hear large beating and like stuff just getting tore up. The next morning, the hide building that he done all of his furs in and stuff is tore completely down to the ground.
Yep.
So the next night, their house has something scratching on it, beating on it, trying to get in the windows, trying the doors, beating on it. They're hearing these terrible growls and whoops and stuff like that. They're now moved. They have left, and they're living in Maine right now with her mom and dad.
Hopefully not Palmyra.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But they said they just did not feel safe no more. She said that, also, they did not allow them to see her dad's body
For 3 days.
3 days.
Yeah, now that sends up a great big red flag, too. Not about the story, but about the government.
Right. So, did he kill a juvenile? And if he did, and he turned it into the wildlife department, was that a mistake?
Yeah, it was a mistake on his part. Yeah, I believe he did kill a juvenile. I actually believe that it was a member of, shall we say, the wildlife department, or possibly one of the alphabet agencies, that took him out because of that, because they wanted to silence him up.
And then, what do you think tore down the fur hut? Do you think
The
it was
parents,
Sasquatch?
sure, it
Sasquatch
was
came
the
back.
parents of that juvenile. I guarantee you that was Sasquatch. I have no doubt in my mind about it.
You think they was going to come in their house too, or do you
Oh,
think
hell yeah.
you think that's what was going to happen?
Oh, yeah. And there have been accounts of Sasquatch coming in houses.
That thing? It was at my granny's house. Uh, you know, Barbie, I'll find out for you a time and date. She just contacted me the other night, and she was still upset. So I'm guessing pretty recent.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That was recent.
It came in their house and it walked past my aunt's bed and ran its fingers across the bottom of her feet.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make me sick to my stomach. I mean,
Well, I guarantee it would scare me.
Oh, I'd have to replace my closet doors and everything else that I shot through.
Remember, know your target.
Yes. Yeah, and I want to emphasize that to a lot of people on here too. You hear something in your house, do not shoot at sound, movement, stuff like that. It could be your kids, it could be somebody else. Make sure you know your target.
Exactly right.
Identify
and
your target.
What the bullet is going to pass through afterwards.
Yeah, because they don't magically stop.
That was definitely a Sasquatch.
And her dad, and I thought it was funny because I almost expected them to say that their dad killed himself. That's honestly where I thought she was going with that.
I thought that's really what I was thinking also. They were going to push it off as being a suicide.
You know, he shot this thing. It looked too human. He wasn't able to get over it, so he goes out and he kills himself.
Sure.
But they play the other thing and say it was another hunter with another deer rifle. To me, that should be pretty easy to solve in a small village of hunters. You collect the deer rifle.
And not only that, did you realize that every firearm sold has had 3 rounds through it before you ever buy it? And those 3 rounds, both the casings and the bullet itself, go to the ATF. They're cataloged. It's entered into the ATF base. And yeah, because there's millions of guns out there, it would take a while. But they can tell from the ballistics on that bullet what gun that would have came from. So yeah, they would be after that hunter if it actually was.
Right. You know, I'm gonna talk about something tonight that I normally don't talk about. But like I said, I keep my, you know, I keep everything open. I'm not a closed-minded person. I done a video where I went down to a certain bridge, and I went underneath the bridge, and the whole time I was there, I felt like I was being followed. I guess something was watching me, and I'm under the bridge, and while I'm under the bridge, I hear something, and the next thing I know, a huge rock lands behind me into the creek. So I came out from under the bridge and I walk up to the other side of the bridge, and there's like a large ditch that had been cut out. And I go to the top of this ditch and I can hear walking, and it sounds like it walks right past me.
But you couldn't see it.
I never seen anything. Not a thing. Uh, I've talked to some people about that, and they talk about, you know, the hair on them being, you know, where you can see through it. Uh, they say that's the perfect camouflage. You know, uh, maybe it was, you know, maybe it was heavier than what I thought, and the footsteps sounded closer because of the weight displacement. Um, you know, because they are so large.
And keep in mind, being around water, sound travels differently.
And that's right, it was.
Fact.
Uh, it it was weird, um, but it did happen in the same area where I had to run in with the feral man.
Yep.
So it makes me wonder: was it cryptid or was it feral?
Yeah, feral definitely isn't cryptid. Feral is just disgusting.
I would almost rather run into something cryptid, I think, than feral people.
Oh, I agree. Like I said, the most dangerous creature in the woods is a human.
I mean, some of these feral people, like we were reading today, they believe sometimes that they are these creatures in the woods.
Yeah.
I mean, they will attack you. They will come to your house.
They will eat you.
Yeah, there's documented cases just happened in a town. A man jumped a lady's back fence and attacked her dog with his hands and mouth, fought it like an animal, and killed it.
Much as I hate to say, that needs treated like an animal.
Like a rabid animal.
Yep.
You know, there's only a rabid animal has two outcomes. It's either put down or it dies later from its disease.
Exactly.
You know, and another bad thing about these feral people, and I thought about this the other day. A lot of people really have me thinking. You're down there in the woods like I do, and I track so far away, guys. Where I live, we don't even have 911 addresses. I mean, and it honestly is still that way here today. It's like You drive down to the old corner where old Millers used to live. You take a right. You go down across the two bridges. You take another left, and you go down where the water pump's at. And then you try to make it down there to where everybody fishes. That's how you
Yeah.
find people around here. And if them people were out there, just hypothetically, they put an arrow in your gut, you're that far out.
Yeah, you're a dead man.
Oh yeah, even if you did pull your weapon and you were able to stop them, you're probably still going to succumb to your injury unless you have a really good person there with you that has a lot of medical experience, first responder.
Right.
Uh, and then it's still going to matter, what's hit inside of you, your liver, your kidneys, or something like that. You're still probably not going to make it. Yeah, just like what Brooke said, nobody can hear you scream, and that's true. Uh,
100%.
you know, it's like what Tanisha said. Feral people scare me 1,000 times more than cryptids.
And that's pretty well what I said also. They're the most dangerous creature in the woods.
I'm not going to say no names tonight, but I am going to tell you people, if you are hunting these things, cryptids, feral people, I'm not saying you're hunting feral people, if you're investigating them and hunting cryptids, make sure we get that right. That could be bad. Make sure nothing follows you home, cryptid or human. Uh, a friend of mine, and if he wants to divulge the information, he can. If he doesn't, fine. Was told tonight that something has been to his house, looked in his window. The only thing that saved him was his dog.
Yep.
Uh, so I know this person, and it wouldn't have been the dog that they would have needed to fear. It would have been the person. but
Yep.
but
Yep. Unfortunately, right.
they will come to your house,
Yes, they
and
will.
they're not in their right capacity.
Not at all.
Do not trust people that want to do things to you. I'm going to leave it at that until more things happen, until we get more information. Uh,
Yeah. And then there's going to be an entire show on that.
maybe a video. uh,
Yeah. I'm. Yeah. Yeah.
but be really careful. They will break into your house. They will come into your house. They will try to hurt your family. I'm speaking from experience. Um, they will come into your house. Uh, it's it's bothersome that you know the the Dennis Martin case. The family said that you know the military wasn't coming. To save our child.
No, they were coming to make sure that he never came back.
And rumor is, and the uncle came out and he talked to us and he said we knew that Dennis was never coming home. That
Yep.
they weren't there to save Dennis. They were there
No.
to kill what done this to alleviate the problem. But Dennis was never coming out. Uh, the rumor is that Dennis was burned with the feral people. They said it was feral people.
Yep.
But
And I have no doubt about that.
they said that most of his body was ate, and they found him in a pile of other discarded waste. and everything else that they killed that had done this was piled on that pile, and it was burnt.
Yep.
And that's really sad.
That's exactly how we operate as a military and what they call uh, high secretive operations.
I'll tell you all a funny story about me. A lot of people think that people are fearless, and that's not true. I was at my granny's one night, and we was watching TV, and the dogs were barking, and this thing was beating on the house as normal, you know. So we turned the TV down, turned the lights down. You know, you don't want shadows moving in your house
Right.
because it can see you. And
Yep.
so we turned the TV down, and we would lay on our bellies. We always called it army crawling. We would army crawl in the front room so we didn't put shadows, you know, up on the walls.
Right.
Well, it kept hitting the house and everything. So I walked over to the window to where it was beating on the window. And I pull the blind back. There's nothing there. And I let the blind back, and I tell my cousin, I said, it's not here, you know. And he's like, it's got to be over there. It's not here. And I grabbed my tea. I drank tea, a lot of tea back then, the Nestea instant tea. I was drinking Nestea tea. And I pull the window back again, and it hits the window, man, with his hand. And I
Yep.
spilled that tea all over the front of me. I mean, it scared me so bad. But you know, it just got me really. And I mean, you could see just this big black thing just hit the window and
Yep.
just vibrate that window. And of course, everybody in the front room screamed. It just it scared me, and I spilled the tea all over me. And my grandpa, and it's kind of funny because the only rifle he had was a single shot 22, and he left it to me. I have it, and it's the one where you got to put the bullet in, push the bolt up, pull back the little cockatiel, and fire it. Well, he trusted that thing with his life because he may or may not have killed deer with that also and fed the family, but that rifle, it done a lot of things, and he
Right.
trusted. And he ran outside that night, and I remember he shot, and he came inside, and I remember Granny saying, "Did you get it?" And he said, "If I didn't, it ain't happy." And I remember, you know, all of us kind of giggling because we kind of felt safe. You know, Grandpa had ran it off, and it didn't come back the rest of the night. But it was, you know, it just, I don't know if it hit the window to try to scare me. If it saw me in the window and it was a swipe, you know, I've always wondered, did it try to hit me? I don't know. I think it would have broke the window if it would have tried to hit me, though. It probably would have been a lot
Sure
more.
would have.
So it probably was to scare me. And it done a damn good job. Mission accomplished. I lost my tea. And it was just one of, you know, one of the memories I had down there. And I know you said you had something you wanted to talk about tonight, a story. And I'm going to stop running my mouth and let you get into yours.
Okay, the particular one that I wanted to talk about fits in very closely with the Alaska one. This happened in 2012. Two trappers. They were northwest of Fairbanks. They went out to run their trap line. Now, they went out on snow machines, as they call them. We call them snowmobiles. They failed to come back when they were supposed to come back. The families got worried about them. They contacted the police also, which isn't much of a police. I believe the small town that they were actually from, there was a chief of police and two officers. They went out looking. They had a general idea where these guys should have been trapping. They didn't find anything there. So they went back and they mobilized some of the other members of the community to come join them, much like a posse from the 1900s, 1800s. So, with that being said, they go out there. They spend a day and a half out searching. They found the first trapper hanging upside down from a tree, bound to the tree by vines. His snow machine is literally absolutely trashed. Appears to have been thrown over a hill, not ridden, thrown. The second one, they didn't find until the spring. He was in a ravine. He was covered, of course, completely by snow. Now, mind you, up in that area, they don't get that much snow. So for him to be covered by snow, it's almost as if somebody were or something were trying to hide his body. Now, I don't know of anything but a human that would be able to bind somebody to a tree upside down. Okay, that requires hands to be able to tie the rope, or in this case, tie the vines. Now, that is still an open case.
It had to have an opposable thumb.
Yeah, exactly. So there's only a couple things we know that has an opposable thumb: a primate or a cryptid.
And then you have to factor in the intelligence to be able to do that.
Right. And you've also got to factor in the size and strength that must be involved, because the police report was written up that the snow machine was thrown over the hill.
Wow. You know, that superhuman strength. Remember, we kind of got into that when we got into the Girl Scout case.
Yep.
That pole, that was in the tent, they said it had the handprints on it. It was just snapped.
Yep.
That's probably one of the few things that I agree with the investigators that was there is ain't nobody could have done that. Nobody would have had the strength to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of other things that I disagree more with that case than I agree with that case. But I think they got a lot of things right in that case too. I think that that place out there is saturated in evil.
Very much so.
And I think that the saturation is so deep that it could even fool an investigator.
Oh, yeah.
I think the evil out there, I think, has tried to reach, shall I say, through social media to try to think of the word I'm looking for. Is trying to make what it done. We'll just do it simple. To make what it done okay.
And it never will be.
No. We talked about going out there and doing on the ground investigation, and I don't feel, and I spoke to my friend Steve about it also. It just doesn't seem there's anything to gain there.
There's nothing to gain.
You're probably going to bring something back. You're probably going to bring something back.
Yeah, you have everything to lose and nothing to gain by going there. And I highly, highly, highly advise against it.
And I hate to do this to you because I know you don't like these little bastards, but tell me a little bit about the story about the sheriff in Alaska that had that gnome run in.
I knew you were going to bring that up. Okay. A little girl, about 9 years old, come up missing in Alaska. She was out back playing. The mother looked out the back window and saw what appeared to be a 9-year-old boy running away. Just happened to be bald-headed, but she didn't notice anything other than he didn't have hair. So, anyways, she goes out and starts calling for her daughter. The daughter never answers. She calls the police. The police start taking the report. As the first car is going out to their house, they send a second car to the school. Now, mind you, it's unclear why this girl was not in school that day, but she was not in school. Okay, the police verified that every child in that town that was supposed to be in school was in school. They were all accounted for. So that second little person was not anybody from the town. So the officer gets, well, actually the chief of police gets the idea that he's going to be looking around to abandoned buildings. He thinks this is probably a kidnapping, and maybe the girl was taken to an abandoned building or something, and I don't even want to get into what he speculated the reason was. But anyways, so he actually goes to this one warehouse that's abandoned. By now it's dark out. He starts to walk up to it to walk around and check everything. And lo and behold, a boulder, a large rock is thrown down from the roof at him. And he looks up, and it is a gnome, and it's trying to throw another one at him. Well, after the second one is thrown, the second one did not hit the cop either. The cop went right back to his car, radioed for backup, sat in the car, and waited until the backup got there. By the time the backup got there and they could go search around and try to find this little thing, it was already gone. At that point in time, they were going to go ahead and take one of the two rocks back to the cop shop for evidence, because that's an attempted assault on a police officer. And I guess because of the weight of the rock, you could actually justify that was attempted murder. This cop was about 6 foot and right around 200 pounds. He could barely lift this rock, let alone throw it. That little creature threw that rock over 30 foot. Now, if you've got a 6 foot, 200-pound man who appears to be in his middle to late 30s, appears to be in very good shape, and he can just barely pick it up. How'd this little creature do it? They are ultra strong. They are ultra fast.
Right.
Mike, I hate to
And
do this to you, but I'm going to have to jump off here.
Oh, that's okay. We're fixing to we're going to wrap it up anyways. We've pretty much talked about everything we need to talk about tonight. We had a really good night, you guys.
There was a lot more I wanted to bring out tonight, but believe me, I'm in too much pain right now.
Hey, take care of yourself first. Tonight was a test run anyways. Everything went smooth. It seems like we went really smooth on the chat. Don't forget, guys, check out Paranormal Roundtable on Friday nights. He'll be on. Go check him out. Happy birthday to Josh. 29, is that right? 29 years old?
29 again.
And 29 again. And let me know, guys, if you want us to do the second part and do a members only video a month. If you'd like to see that, put it in the comments. I'll be checking those after the show. And until next time, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Prayers for Kurt that he gets to feeling better. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys, on a spur of the moment. It was awesome. And until next time, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Be careful, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks a lot.